Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series following Vemundr, Ivar's son, the Raven Killer. But we were more than a Raven Killer in that last episode. We were a Lion Slayer, for we ended the life of the last of the sons of Harold Fairhair, and did so in a gruesome way. The man was not deserving of being blood-eagled if we were to look at things objectively, but vengeance has never been an objective matter to Vemundr. It's always been a subjective one, and he metes it out as he sees fit. And in offering the Blood Eagle to Hogni, he sent a message to anyone who might have thought to cross him that this is the fate that you will suffer if you get on the wrong side of Vemundr, son of Ivar. And that is exactly what people will be thinking if they do end up crossing us or our family while Vemundr still lives, though that might not necessarily be for long, for he is an old man. Now, I know in the last episode we had talked about taking Gotland for ourselves and earning our own little bit of land here, and we will be doing that. However, there is something that I want to do first, and you might be thinking I'm talking about the situation with our friend Njord, who lost his kingdom and is currently imprisoned. And that is something to consider. However, that's not really what I'm talking about. Njord's situation, I don't think Vemundr really intends to bring the entire Leonsbani force back again to these lands. I think Vemundr, in his mind, when he left the last time, he was leaving those lands for good. And he is a callous man. And though Njord is his friend, I think Vemundr's mind is elsewhere at this point. Even though Vemundr's wife has come to us and probably, begged us to come and help her husband. I mean, there's not really all that much we can do. We could try to, we could invade the kingdom again, bring our entire force back here. But like I said, I feel like Vemundr, would see this as, like, how to put it? It's not that he wouldn't want to go and get vengeance for his friend. We know he's a vengeful man, but he just spent, he came back there after all those years. He had to see his son, he left his children, he left his family, he said goodbye to them. And he thought it was going to be for the last time, to simply return because his friend lost the kingdom that Vemundr fought for and earned him. And now Vemundr's supposed to go back and put, save Njord, put him back on the throne. That's what they expect of Vemundr. They just expect him to go and, put everything aside and come back. I don't think so. Like, I think that he's left this behind. Now, it's not that he doesn't care about Njord's situation. Like, obviously, to some extent he would, but he is a callous man, and his attention is elsewhere. And to his mind, he's left Iberia behind, and I don't think he ever intends to return, honestly. And so Njord losing his kingdom, like, Vemundr left him with men. Njord was a capable man, and he lost the kingdom that Vemundr fought for. So I don't think Vemundr's just going to be, go sailing back to go and help put his friend back on the throne, after we spent all that effort putting him there and, left that place behind. We're not going to come crawling back there. That's just not Vemundr. And so, what happens with Njord, I think we shall see. I have put him in our camp, so he could come back to us if he survives. Like, if he's let free, he might be executed. Hard to say. I'm sure his wife will not be pleased that we're not going back there, but, her pleas will fall on deaf ears because Vemundr, yeah, he's callous. He doesn't care. The wailing of women does not concern him. So Vemundr has other plans, and, taking Gotland is where his mind is focused, but there's something he needs to do before that, and that is dealing with this situation that we see right here, because this is a pressing situation. If we take a look at Sweden, we can see that Sweden is ruled by King Orvar the Handsome, a Norseman, but a Catholic. And And more than that, a faithful blade, a holy warrior, burning with righteous fervor. Orvar will not rest until all the heathens are defeated. So not necessarily, zealous in the sense of like, a priestly type of zealous, but obviously in a warlike sense of zealotry. And we can see that he is fighting a rebellion against his old gods, worshiping vassals, the ones who follow Odin and Thor. They're rising up against this Catholic king, intending to depose him and put his brother Bjorn on the throne. And Bjorn is a good Norse believer, a believer of the Norse gods. And so I think if we are to take Gotland, we would much rather have a follower of the old gods on the throne of Sweden, more so than this King Orvar here. So I think we are going to be assisting the rebellion here and hoping that we can turn the tides. Now, he's got 12,000 troops versus their 6,000, so numbers advantage, but the Leon's Bani are pretty strong. So we are going to be we're going to be assisting with that. To that end, I don't want to spend much money on this. We've got about 12,000 troops, which is a relatively decent amount. I don't want to spend much more because we are going to be doing this for pay. We're not going to fight this war for free. But this guy will pay us to join his war. He's going to pay us 95. And now that we're using the landless balance patch mod, which is not released yet, this is the mod that I've been working on with some help from Valadar, another prolific CK3 modder. It's not released yet, still in the testing phase, but it probably will be going up on the Steam Workshop soon. But you can see now we have monthly army maintenance costs. Heavy on the provisions, light on the gold. Essentially, you got to keep your men fed, and you have to basically have some money in your coffers. Mercenaries fight for loot and the stuff that they can take from, battles, armor and whatever kind of loot they can find there, and loot from looting cities. So the monthly gold cost is basically just to essentially say, like, you can't be destitute and keep all of your troops. Like if you are at 0 gold, your troops will start to abandon you because you are too poor to afford them. So essentially you got to have a little bit of a war chest before you go into a war. This is kind of a balance thing. We tried it out with costing a little bit more money. And it works fine when you're just doing contracts, but if you join in a 3-year-long war, you will never make your money back. So to some extent, it makes sense. You got to feed your troops. You got to have enough money to like offer them gifts occasionally and things like that. And you basically have to not be destitute. And you will keep your troops. However, your troops will desert you if you run out of gold or if you run out of provisions. So that's something to consider. Also, with the landless balance patch, your officers cost you money as well. So all of your court camp positions, it's a small amount of money, but you do have to have some money flowing if you want to get all of these bonuses. So tried to do it in a way that requires you to, manage your economy a little bit without it getting, tedious or preventing you from actually making money and investing in your camp and things like that. Once again, it's a balance patch. But I will be making a video on this, and I will be going more in depth once it is ready for release. Once again, the testing phase for now. So something to consider, and we will need to consider that now that we're going to war. So first things we're going to do is we're going to get out of Sweden's land, because if we're going to be joining a war against them, as you can see, we are in their lands. If we're going to be joining a war against them, we don't want to have our camp in their land. Outliving a child, I thought I was too old to be surprised by the cruelties of this world. Lucidio, our second son, is dead. And that is... I was going to say tragic, but honestly, he was probably our worst son. Craven? I mean, he was vengeful, but coward. I don't think Vemundr cared much for Lucidio. He was a coward. And a Christian, no less. So, and not even, you know, he started to give up his Norse ways. So yeah, same. I mean, at least Ivar is a little bit of a warrior. So we'll give him that much. But yeah, Lucidio, nothing there to respect from Vemundr's perspective. So we'll still take a stress hit because I guess apparently Vemundr cares a little bit. All right, so here we go. We've moved our camp into Pomerania here. And we should be able to go against our enemies. Now, I was considering boosting up our men-at-arms, but like I said, I don't want to spend that much money, especially because we're going to be spending money on our maintenance. I don't want to waste a lot of money here building up our army. Now, your maintenance cost is directly proportionate to the amount of troops you have. So if you have a really big army, you're going to be spending, you know, 10 gold per month, probably, you know, over 1,000 provisions per month. Like, I think it's based on 100. No, it's 10 provisions for every 100 troops. So if you've got an army of 8,000, you're going to be spending 800 provisions per month. So like that's a lot. Like having a bigger army, very expensive to feed. And your gold cost then would probably be like 10 per month or something like that. So still fairly low, but once again, trying to keep it balanced. Like we don't want you to be running out of gold all the time, because that isn't fun. We just, you know, you just gotta pay attention to it. You can't be poor. Basically, you can't be poor. In any case, we are going to go to war here with the king here. So I'm going to offer our military assistance to this guy. He's going to pay us 97. I mean, we could increase our troop count a little bit. Maybe by 1, so that's 17. All right, we spent a little bit of money there. I will use... I don't think... Yeah, well, we'll use some provisions to boost that up. Now, our provisions are a little bit low. We are spending 150 provisions now per month. And look, our gold's gone up to 3. So we have, you know, getting a couple extra men did boost our gold cost, and we are paying our officers here, keep in mind. So having a smaller army in a lot of cases is, I mean, you have to balance, yeah, you'll have to balance it. Bigger army, bigger cost. But we could potentially try to forage for some provisions just so we don't have to worry about that as much. So we bring in much food. That's going to help us make sure that we're staying afloat when it comes to provisions. So yeah, I guess we prepare for war then, assuming they accept us joining in. Yep, they have. All right, so we are going to raise up all of our armies there. So we got 1,500 men. We've got some allied armies over down here, but just a small one. The bulk of the army seems to be over here, so that's where I'm going to head as well, because the enemy's got a lot, a lot of troops, and I don't want to... Our 1,500 troops, now with the balance patch, is not going to be able to defeat 12,000 troops. It might have before, honestly. It might have been enough to defeat that before, but I'm pretty sure we would get our butt kicks now. Keep in mind that our troops are still going to be significantly stronger than a landed army of the same amount of troops. These are professional soldiers, right? Your army is still going to be notably stronger than landed armies, but they're just not going to be 10 times as strong. Now instead they're like 3 to 4 times as strong, which feels a lot more plausible. And so I think that's going to make the gameplay for a landed character a lot more interesting, because it wasn't a challenge before, and things are more interesting when they're a challenge. The King of Castile, King Alfonso, has accused my sister Cristina of having an affair with her lover Mayor Domingo. Were you cheating on your husband? No, you weren't. Your husband is dead. Died 1 year ago. Wow, you didn't wait long, did you, Christina? I mean, she's not married, so it's not for us to judge, right? But yeah. Is okay, Njord's still in prison. I wonder if they're gonna let him go or execute him or what. I guess we'll find out. We do got another perk here. We can get Overseer. It's not gonna help us too much in this war, but it does boost our martial a little bit, which does help for sure. I think we'll probably attach to the biggest army here. Oh, where are they going? All right. So they're heading to the sea. So we'll stick with the main armies here. I think our 7,500 troops, I think our 7,500 troops with the Leon's Bani and with Vemundr leading them might be able to handle this force here. Especially because they're suffering from attrition and stuff. The campfire crackles, illuminating a figure entering our circle. He moves with vigor despite the lateness of the hour, hand wrapped around a walking stick. Those standing guard are always intercepting, but I wave them away. Do you have a good place for a man of Uko? No. Not really. We don't. So yeah, we're losing about 3.5 gold per month. So, you know, there is still a cost to having all your officers and having your army, right? You do have to maintain this. So we can ransom this guy. That's going to pay for, 4 months of our army. Gifts and things like that. We could probably, I'd be tempted to actually sell this. Can we go? I'm tempted to put my army temporarily in charge of somebody else here. Because I think we could... Oh no, it's being besieged. Okay, well that's unfortunate. I was going to say, we probably could have sold some of our artifacts there. Someone else, my concubine Ingeborg, is once again absent from our tent. We'll confront her. She denies the accusations. All right, well, if you say so. All right, we're landing in Upland. So Uppsala. Okay, but we're moving here. Oh, why are we moving there? We're going to take 100 casualties of attrition. I don't think that's a great move there. You're going to go there. Okay, I'm going to stay on Uppsala or Uppland in order to help with the siege, because Vemundr does have the siege commander trait. So we're going to help with that. And looks like most of the armies here, they're sieging down over here, but they're losing some troops just to attrition. Their supply is not looking great. If we can take the capital, that might turn things around, because I'm pretty sure the war score held objective here is the capital. If we can take the capital, this 32% will suddenly turn around. So we need to take the capital. We need to win a couple decent battles, and we should be able to turn this war around and put the better brother on the throne. Get rid of this Catholic king. And then we can take Gotland, but we don't want to have a gigantic Catholic Sweden neighbor. I'm proud to see my daughter no longer as a child, but as an adult. Hafrieder has proven time and time again over the course of the study that she has a natural affinity for careful planning and more than a little misdirection. Well, that's good. Got a level 3 trait. It's rare to get level 3 traits in this family. I'm hoping that Yorleif will get a decent trait. He is brave. This guy, we were talking about this in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, you definitely should. There is a link down below. We're talking about like the type of person that an arrogant, brave, and shy character would be. And like, this isn't the type of man that you would love, but he's the type of warrior that you might respect. He knows that he's strong. He knows that he's handsome, maybe a little bit narcissistic, but he leads from the front. Maybe not giving great speeches or anything like that, but he is somebody who the men will follow because they know that he's going into battle alongside them. So, and that makes a big difference, right? So, okay, they are probably coming for us here. We're not gonna have the defensive advantage, so This could be a tricky fight. But they are suffering from a lot of attrition. The numbers are... you know what? Numbers are relatively even. Especially if these 16k troops, or 1600 troops, can make it in here. So, okay, here we go. Army is starving. Yeah, we might be able to pull this off. This is going to be a tough battle, actually. So I'm very curious to see if we're going to be able to pull off a victory here. I'm hoping our allies' armies are going to come in because we will probably need them. Come on, guys. Join. Oh, they're trying to run? What? They're retreating. No, we can win this. You guys, yeah, come on, we can win this. Bring the forces in. All right, this is gonna be a tough battle. Vemundr's really, the Leon's Bonnie really got to pull their weight here. Okay, we're going up against the king himself. Ooh, boy. All right, come on, guys. Get that 1700 troops is gonna make a big difference here once they land in here. Oh man. Yeah, okay. This could have been a tough one, but Vemundr's got that really high advantage. You know, we've got a lot of champions. Our champions are really gonna be pulling their weight here. I mean, look at some of these guys. Gerdaudas, 25 prowess. We've got a lot of strong warriors, not just within our camp, but the rest of the armies. So like, not too bad. And yeah, here we go. Yeah, the Leon's Bonnie are still strong. And like I said, you know, even with the balance patch, even though we nerf things to almost 1/5 of the value, your troops are still a lot stronger and can make a big difference in the battles. You just can't quite rely on like soloing a 10,000 army. You know, like your troops will make a big difference in battles like these, where you are augmented by some other allied forces. But you won't necessarily be able to solo massive armies with 1,000 troops like you used to. You'll have to be a little bit more cautious because your bonuses are not as big. And, you know, like, it costs money now to get those bonuses. So, you know, this, and even this war here, you know, this war that we're fighting is costing us, you know, a good chunk of money to maintain, so... The beating. What in the world happened to my nephew Jorundr? He's all beaten and bruised and he refuses to name who did it. So much as a pin drop, he will be... Oh, no, he's Craven? No, we won't let you be Craven. Paranoid? Shy as well? Oh my gosh, the two of them. You know what? It's funny because he's friends with Jorundr. Maybe just it's the two of them are both shy. And, you know, they're like... They never, like... They just hang out with each other. You know, it's like those two friends who like never likes to go out, but they just like, you know, they're just like hanging out with each other and chilling. So, you know what, that's completely understandable. We do need to consider that if they... Oh, Ingbjorg is pregnant. Great, we're going to have more kids. Oh, we're going to siege down the capital. We're in charge of this siege. I'm thinking. Yeah, that's going to be nice. Maybe we'll get some loot from that. The enemy army is coming back. I'm hoping that we'll be able to pull off the siege before they get here. What are we looking at in terms of timeline? 57. They're probably going to get here before that. Oh, no, we captured it right away. Nice. Good. Didn't capture any important prisoners though. Siege 1, but we gained 30. Which is good. So there we go. That's how you can make your profit. Even though you have to spend your money during the war, you can still gain some profit. Who is this woman here? Ah, she's worth a little bit of a ransom. That's how you pay off this gold cost and still make a profit joining the wars. So, you know, if a war lasts 3 years and you're paying 3 gold per month, that's what, 36? So that's like 90 right there. If this war lasts 3 years, that's essentially the cost that they're paying us. But if you can get some sieges and you can get some prisoners, then you can still make it profitable. So, yeah, I think that's, I don't know, it's a little bit more balanced. We could take away the gold cost, but, you know, it'll require some testing. The mod in progress. But we are going to come out of this with a profit, as you can clearly see. All right, the Allied armies are moving. They're hanging out on the island, sieging stuff, I guess. Niord died. Was sacrificed to the gods. I mean, like I said, sure, we could have gone and brought our entire army back to free him from prison. But I just think that Vemundr, I don't think there was anything that was going to bring Vemundr back. He wasn't going to conquer Hraefnjarl twice for this man, even though he was his friend. You know, keep in mind, like, Vemundr is callous, so being a friend to somebody who's callous, you know, is, you know, he's indifferent to most, like heartless and cold-blooded. You know, I think it's perfectly reasonable, considering the circumstances, that he wouldn't go rushing back to save his friend. Now, will he, you know, potentially go? Well, I don't know. I don't know if he will go back. It's a, you know, it's a tricky situation. But honestly, I think once he left it behind for that last time, you know, a land that exiled him, a land that, you know, he left behind, you know, where his son that, you know, he doesn't really want to see again. I just don't think that there was anything bringing him back, including his friend. And so, you know, Niord dying, I mean, Niord was an awesome character, but he couldn't hold his kingdom, and that wasn't Vemundr's fault. You know, so that's the way I see it. I'm sure there's people who think we should have gone back to help him, but I just don't think that Vemundr had any desire to return there, and it wasn't his problem, to be honest. You know, is he gonna take the Leon's Bani all the way back? Nah. He's got more important things to deal with. His focus here is on taking this land and dealing with the Christian influence that is right on his doorstep here. So he is getting old too, 58 years old. Our health is still okay. Oh, let's take a look at the details of that battle. So yeah, look, we lost 200 troops. They lost 3,000. So clearly our troops are still very powerful. Gerdaudas slew a man. Hastings slew a man. We lost a guy, not in our camp, but, and then PG Jostolfer, we'll call him, slew a man as well. So nice, pretty epic battle that was. So there we go. The war score has turned around. We're getting +6 there. The war score from battles is boosted. We're getting some decent from the occupied holdings. So ideally we can capture the king and hold the capital. That's going to be probably the main thing. Win a couple battles. I mean, if we capture the king, then it doesn't matter anyways. But yeah, we need to win a few battles and keep these holdings here if we can. I'm a little worried about them. Our daughter was taken prisoner. Alfridir. Oh, this is our... Oh no, her husband. What the heck happened? So our daughter, who was married to Jarl Ragnar II, Jarl Ragnar was murdered by Prince Hastin II of Gwynedd. Here. Okay, and our daughter was imprisoned by the man? Oh man. This game just does not want me to... we're gonna have to... I mean... Our daughter. Niord was just a friend, but our... capturing our daughter... You better let her back. Oh, he will accept a ransom for her. You know what? We might, if we got word of this, we might pay the ransom And then we're just going to go and raid this guy's land at the earliest opportunity. Pay a ransom for our daughter. It is our daughter. Yeah, I think that this makes a little more sense. I'm willing to pay seven gold. If it was an extortionate ransom, I probably wouldn't. All right, so he returns her. Oh, we had a son. Ulfkel. Delicate. I'll call him Ulfkel, that's fine. Okay, I'm tempted to ask our daughter, invite to camp. No, we can't invite her, apparently. So we'll pay for her freedom, but... Okay, this siege is about to be finished. I want to finish this siege off here. 1 day left, there we go. Now we can go join in the war here. Oh, they're crushing our allies. All right, we're gonna have to get in there. All right, this is another big battle here. Oh, look, we're fighting to put you on the throne, man. But he's loyal to his brother. You know, I'll give him credit for that. We're trying to depose his brother to put him on the throne, but he's fighting for his brother. So that's pretty damn honorable, honestly. He's a good man. Once we depose your brother, you'll make a good king. It's too bad the king is not in this Oh, he is in the battle, maybe. It'd be nice if we could capture him, though. I haven't been getting many duel events, despite the fact that we have the battle events mod still on. All right. Defeated the enemy army once again there. Nice, that's boosting up that war score a little bit. So we're only at -10 on the battles. A couple more good battles. Could turn things around. We'll take a look at... Yeah, see, look, that's some reasonable... You know, when the enemy army comes with 10,000 soldiers, and you got 8,000, and you lose 800, and they lose 2,500, that feels reasonable. That's still a great victory by any measure. But that feels more reasonable than 0 losses. Oh, okay, so there was some dueling going on there. All right. Let's go and, I guess, do some more sieging. Maybe we want to go and siege this land down. The tribe of the Straginis. All right, let's go and do that. The enemy army is going to run, actually. They're running south. So I'm slightly concerned about where our positioning's going to be if they come back for us here. We should... we might be okay. Yeah, they're heading to the sea, so... But yeah, ideally we can hold the capital here for a little bit longer. Get that war score up from that held objectives. Like I said, I don't want to spend all of my money, though. Like, that's the thing. I want this war to be over relatively quickly. Oh, maybe they are going to come for me. Maybe I want to retreat because I'm a little concerned. Okay, we might actually get caught here. We might be able to get away. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna need our allies to come in because the Leon's Bonnie. Oh, come on. They're leaving the Leon's Bonnie? Oh, man, at least we're freaking badasses, though. We're gonna crush their army ourselves. Hell yeah. I mean, our bonuses might not be quite as good as they were before, but we're still the freaking badasses of battle here. Come on. Ooh. I don't know. Actually, this could be a tough one. We might actually still be able to pull this off. We might. Oh, no, I don't know. Come on, our freaking allies just abandoning us? You cowards. Come on. Can we turn things around? Vemundr. Vemundr, you gotta do this. Our allies are just hanging around like cowards, leaving the Leon's Bonnie to fight for themselves. But I don't know, we might somehow be able to pull this off still. We've had some crazy victories, and it is slowly turning. Oh man, we might be able to pull this off. This could actually be a crazy battle. Come on, you guys. The Leon's Bonnie, do it. Show them who's boss here. Come on, guys. You can do it. Your life has come of age. He's come of age in this battle. Literally, the kid in this battle fighting with us, and he kills his first man. This is the battle where Yorleif kills his first man, and that's what makes him come of age. And yeah, hell yeah. And look at this. Got a 3. He's a skilled tactician. Nice. Flexible leader and raider. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, kid's good. We're up fast. All right. Well, you've proven yourself in this battle, and look at this. He's proven himself in what is going to turn out to be a freaking epic battle where the Leon's Bonnie takes on the entire enemy force themselves. Yeah, this is a battle. This is a battle for the ages. Our freaking allies, though, are completely cowardly. And here we go, turning things around. I mean, like I said, even with... could you imagine how this would have been without the balance patch? Like, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, 1,400 versus 9,000, and we still won. But we barely squeaked out a win, whereas this would have been an easy battle beforehand. And yeah, we took 350 losses. We were taking 0 losses before. Now we're actually taking, like, I mean, that's still a very low amount of losses considering. But yeah, this feels a lot more reasonable. And like that battle, I was actually on the edge of my seat. I thought we were going to lose that one. But look at this. Joanne killed a man. She killed Dan. Hastine killed Salinguera. Cosma was slain. Oh no, Cosma was slain. Damn. So we did lose a guy, but our freaking allies, cowardly as you can call it. But we absolutely annihilated them in that battle. Look at that. The Battle of... which one is that? The Battle of Talgie. Or Talye? 12%. That was just literally our army turning this whole thing around. They owe us. Man, do they ever owe us. Well, maybe we go and kick them off this siege and get the loot from this siege ourselves, because I think you owe us at this point here. 50% war score, so we might be able to get a victory here. You know, maybe, hopefully soon. We definitely need to... Oh, okay, look at this. I'm sitting around the map table with Gerdaudas and Yorleif. So our oldest, most capable man, our heavy infantry master and master at arms, and then our son, who literally just proved himself in a battle. Gerdaudas bangs his fist on the table and loudly proclaims we should charge the enemy directly and crush them with the sheer might of our armies, while Yorleifer nervously mutters about how we should avoid unnecessary engagements and fight. I like this, actually. You know, Yorleif is kind of a... he's a kid, right? Like, you know, he's maybe not fully confident. He's arrogant, but he's still 16 years old. You know, but he's at the table, so he's still a little bit nervous. You know, not confident. He's a little bit shy. I know how we can employ both strategy. Gerdaudas has the right here. I think I'm gonna actually go with Gerdaudas has the right here. I think that because it makes sense that Vemundr would think for a more aggressive strategy. And I think he, you know, wants to kind of teach his son a little bit of a lesson, like, hey, like, respect your elders kind of thing. So that's exactly what he's going to do. All right, let's let this siege roll on here. Just 48 days left. They're going to go up over to here and try to siege down some lands, but yeah, we're definitely pulling off a victory here, I would imagine. And then once we get that, then suddenly things are going to be looking a lot better when we take Gotland for ourselves. There we go. Siege is going to be done. I don't think we're going to be leading this siege, so we won't get the loot from it, which is unfortunate. I'd like to, if we could get ahead of the other army to pull off this siege here. You are always there for me, and I hope you know that I am grateful. My nephew Jorundr approaches me in a rare display of honesty. When I need it, I expect you to be there for me too. Or, this is what it means to be a guardian. I actually love this because I see Yorinder. There's kind of two different ways that this could have gone. Yorinder could have been our ward, but somebody who is always like, he's just waiting for his opportunity to get vengeance against us for being the man who killed his father. Or, on the other hand, he could be more like an Uhtred type character. I know I've mentioned the Saxon stories a lot, but he could be more of like an Uhtred type character who ends up, as a ward of the man who killed his father, but ends up respecting that man and his way of life so much that he, is happy with it. And like his father, keep in mind, his father, ambitious, paranoid, patient, a seducer. Like his father wasn't like a good, nice guy. So, who knows how much Jornder even liked his father, Not that Vemundr's a nice guy either, but, he's taught the kid how to fight. So I'm going to actually take the opinion boost because I like the idea that maybe Jornder actually doesn't mind, maybe, and he's friends with our son. Maybe he's happy. Maybe he's happy where he is now. And that's kind of cool. A night visit. I am poring over a document at my desk when I see an adorable little girl scurrying back and forth in my room. Upon seeing each other, we both stare in confusion, so I ask who she is and why she's here. I'm cold and hungry, she mumbles shyly. Feeling sorry for her? I don't think we feel sorry for anybody, but I point to some food I had left on my table and tell her to eat some. Thank you, she squeaks before eating. Why is there a skull? Why does this not feel... Why am I worried? Here. You know what this reminds me of, though? Of like Tywin Lannister with Arya in the show. Kind of... Oh, God. I suddenly wake up realizing I must have dozed off while reading and that the little girl must have been from a dream I had. I go to finish the rest of my food, but contrary to what I remember, none of my meal is left save for a few crumbs. The next morning, when I ask about her, I learned her appearance matched one of my guard's daughters who passed away from illness a few days ago. The guard, a devout Asatru believer, tells me he is certain I helped his child's soul pass into the afterlife thanks to me. She was a polite child. She is surely now at peace in Asgard. It must be a coincidence, but if thinking that way makes you feel better... Maybe this is like a weird, rare moment. Maybe it reminded him... I don't know, Vemundr is callous. Yeah, this is an interesting event. I'm going to take this option up here, because I think this option kind of is like the believer option that, it's like, this is the, believer option. This is the cynical option. I feel like Vemundr is a believer in the supernatural. So that's the option I'm going to go with. I'm hoping that we're going to get the siege. No, it doesn't look like it. Maybe their armies will move, so we'll get to be siege leader. Doesn't look like it here, so maybe... can't do that because we're not going to... I don't want to take the attrition here, but I also want to get loot. So I'm going to go over here. We could go and become a raider again. That is an option. If we were worried about our money, we could go and just become a raider, but I don't think we'll do that. Your son, Count Ivar, married Infanta Catalina Marias. Wait, weren't you betrothed to... I thought this girl was betrothed to... Huh? What? Holy crap. Frickin' Normandia. Did I not tell you in the last episode that Stein of Normandia was behind everything? Did I not tell you that this man was behind all of the plotting going on here? Our sister being executed, the wife or the sister of Alfonso being executed. This man right here was behind it all. And now his daughter is on the throne of Castile. You gotta be kidding me. The game is how that I mean, I'm a good story writer, but this is freaking epic here. How did this happen? Claimant's title history in He died? How did he die? Died from stress. Yeah. Was it stress or, did somebody put something in his drink? And then how did she inherit? How did she possibly inherit? She's not, like, where does her claim even come from? Oh. Here it is. Yeah, here. Oh my gosh. What a plan. You devious bastard, Stein. Then literally deceitful and zealous. Oh man. What a plan. He has a daughter with the sister of Alfonso. And then he kills her. He makes sure that the Scallendils are, being put out of the way as well. And then he goes and gets his own child. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that Alfonso is dead. I think that this is all part of Stein's plan. What an epic play. Literally Game of Thrones level stuff here. Man, this man single-handedly halted the Catholic resurgence in northern Iberia, and that is extremely badass. I'm gonna end the episode here because I want to hear your comments on this, because I hope you guys think that this is cool as I do, because like that is such an amazing turn of events there that just works perfectly for the story. And man, I love it. If you love it as well, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to leave a like, put on your notifications, that kind of thing. And hey, if you want to have a character in this series, if you want to be a Viking warrior, keep in mind, Vemundr is getting old, and we will be starting a new season possibly pretty soon. So if you want to have a character in that new season, when we'll probably be playing as your life, but who knows? There might be other options. If you want to have your own character in there, just join on YouTube or on Patreon, and you can make cool characters as well. But until the next one, Wanderers, thank you for watching.